Hey, what's going on, YouTubers and gun enthusiasts? Today I am very excited to bring you a review of a 45 ACP pistol that is an absolute beast. This is the EAA SAR K2 45. It's one of the best pistols at this price point. Now, I've mentioned in previous videos that when it comes to evaluating pistols, there's a lot of personal preference and subjectivity that comes into play because pistols aren't as modular as rifles, so you have to find the right one that fits you. So even if you aren't a fan of this particular pistol or you don't even like the 45 ACP cartridge, I think you will admit that what you get relative to what you pay is an outstanding value. So let's take a closer look at this pistol. This pistol is manufactured by SAR out of Turkey. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that name. Correct me if I'm wrong and enlighten me on the correct pronunciation. But SAR creates small arms for many Turkish armed forces and police agencies. This pistol is distributed by EAA, which also distributes very trustworthy pistols like the Takedown line. And I wouldn't say it's a direct clone of the CZ75 platform, but the action shares a lot of similarities with the CZ line of pistols. The slide rides within the frame for a tighter fit and more consistent travel. And the controls are exactly where you would expect them to be. You have your safety that isn't a decocker safety. If you want to decock your pistol to have double action, you have to pull the trigger with your thumb in between the hammer and the firing pin, and this puts it into half cock. So if you want to use that as your defensive method for a safety instead of using the manual thumb safety, then you got to have some sandbags or a bullet trap somewhere in your basement if you're doing that with a chambered round. And the slide release is here, which is exactly how my controls on the CZ P09 Duty are, and you can see the slide rides within the frame exactly like the SAR, so it's very similar to the CZ75 platform. The gun has a 4.5-inch stainless steel barrel. The frame is all steel. It's not an aluminum alloy. It's solid steel, and the gun weighs in at 40 ounces, which really helps control the recoil. The trigger pull in double action is very long, I would say upwards of 10 pounds, but in single action is where this gun really shines. I would say right away this is a top 5 trigger. I would say a 1911 trigger, even on a mid-range 1911 like a Ruger, has the best trigger pull of any single double action pistol. And I would say a SIG comes in at as a close second, but this pistol immediately goes into the top 5 of any of these single double action pistols that I've shot. This trigger has very little pre-travel or take-up, and it breaks at a very light 3.5 pounds almost. Some additional frame features include an extended beaver tail, an oversized trigger guard, and an accessory rail up front. The grips are rather wide, the panels are made of plastic, and from what I've read, there don't seem to be a whole lot of options for replacing these panels. The SIG or CZ panels won't fit. And I didn't think that my hand would get along with this back hump area because the back hump of the Glock pistols really grinds into my palm. My palm is just so built up from years of excessive weight training. But from the way I wrap my hand around to get good trigger reach, this grip, it just fits my hand perfectly. I would say it's about the same width of a SIG 227. And because this pistol is so obscure, there aren't a whole lot of aftermarket accessories like holsters for them. I've only seen 2 holsters, and they're off the EAA official website. The pistol takes down by punching out the slide stop, and it protrudes a little bit to make it easier so you can use the tip of a magazine or whatever. And it's the exact same takedown method as any CZ pistol. So I'm going to go ahead and align these 2 dots and punch out the slide stop. The tip of a finger is fine because of how it protrudes. Then pull the slide off. There you go, and you can see the very hefty recoil spring, the guide rod, and it's indexed at the end with a little nub for a more consistent fit with the barrel, so I think that's a really nice touch. And this is a gorgeous stainless steel barrel that has conventional rifling not polygonal rifling, which is all the rage these days with pistols. So very nice stainless steel barrel, very polished feed ramp. The magazines drop free, and they're made by Mekar out of Italy, who makes some of the best pistol magazines in the world. They have a metal body, and this is one of the strongest features of this pistol. They have a 14 round 45 capacity. One of the biggest knocks on the 45 ACP cartridge over the 9mm is that you have significantly reduced capacity. Not so with the 13+1 Glock 21, not so with the 15+1 FNX 45, and not so with the 14+1 SAR K2. The sights are 3 white dots, and they don't glow in the dark, but if you want glow in the dark sights, then you can buy some phosphorescent paint on Amazon for like $20 and paint them with the tip of a toothpick or whatever. But what's really cool about the sights that this gun comes with are that you can adjust them with tools right at the firing line, so you don't have to go home to the bench and use a punch to drift them. You can just tighten this to adjust the elevation, or loosen and tighten this screw to adjust the windage. So that is a fantastic feature. I've used a lot of different types of ammunition with this gun. I've used 230 grain Blazer aluminum cased ammo as my range target rounds. I've tried Federal High Shock and Federal Hydra Shock for defensive rounds, and they've all performed flawlessly. My gun hasn't had any malfunctions, whether it's a stovepipe, failure to feed, or failure to extract over 500 rounds. I know 500 rounds isn't the largest sample size, but I just don't have the funds to do a 1,000 rounds in a day type of torture test. How accurate is this gun? Most of us will not have the skill level to reach the accuracy limits of this gun. This gun will be as accurate as you need it to be. I'm a lot more experienced than I was when I did my CZP09 review, but I'm still nowhere close to being a proficient competition style shooter. Defensive shooting doesn't take a whole lot of practice to be really good at. All you have to do is, even law enforcement and military style shooting, all you have to be able to do is dump half your magazine into a torso-sized target from 5 to 15 yards away. There's really not much to it. But competition style shooting takes some kind of next level dedication to be really good at. I can land all of my shots at 25 yards on a 6-inch shoot and see target, but that's not really saying a whole lot. I would imagine a really proficient competition style shooter could land all of the shots within the inner circle. That's how good I think this gun is. You are getting a fantastic value for a steel framed pistol at $450. Yes, the online sticker price for this gun is $450 almost, and you're going to have to pay a little bit of shipping. It's a pistol, so it'll probably be around, I don't know, like $15 to $10 type of shipping, and you're going to have to pay a dealer a transfer fee for this pistol. So hopefully you can get a transfer for a lot less than I got mine for. I got my transfer for $60. But this is one of the best pistols that you can get at the under $500 sticker price point. Thank you very much for watching this video. My name is David. Leave a comment on what you think about this pistol and whether you have any suggestions for other pistols for me to review. I am thinking about doing either the Bursa 9 Thunder Compact or the CZ75P01. Thank you very much for watching this video. My name is David, and I will see you next video.